Hi there, and thanks so much for tuning into the Trade Setup. I'm Neeraj Shah. Good morning to all of you. And it's an interesting day of trade. It's the weekly options expiry, of course, because it's a Thursday, penultimate day to the weekend. And, interesting data points later today. Some Chinese manufacturing activity data, US initial jobless claims, and then tomorrow the big one, the Indian Reserve Bank of India meet. So fairly interesting that we are poised up now. Now, keep in mind what's happening around the world. What's happening around the world is that PMIs are expanding at a fastest pace. I had this image which showed how US, for example, the strongest PMI number in 14 years, Germany record high in March, France PMI hit 2-decade high in the month of May. So globally, the activity is resumed back to near normalcy, which is amazing. And while Q1 for India could be soft due to regional lockdowns, I think exports could continue to be supportive. So that plus the fact that if demand recovers, then the sentiment around improves. All of this should keep the sentiment buoyant. So keep that at the back of your mind. Now, did it impact the markets yesterday? Maybe not. US markets were, okay, they marginally expanded a little bit, or some indices came off a little bit. But yeah, about 19 odd points for the NASDAQ, so hardly any moves there. The futures as we speak are also flat. The good part is that the VIX has come off, and that should actually augur well for the bulls. By the way, I mean, if you were you're watching the US markets, you couldn't have missed AMC Entertainment, isn't it? Big Mac move, 100% uptick at a point of time, over 100% at a point of time. So the fun and games going on. But the beauty is, viewers, and this, well, you could kind of sense it, but I didn't quite exactly know it until I saw the chart, that if you look at the global markets, European indices at the top of the equity world, that benchmark has taken the pole position amidst drop in Asia and the US. So look at that green line, and who would have thought that YTD in the month of June, European indices, which were considered to be moving neither here nor there in the month of March, would be taking pole position. That is what is happening. And I was talking with the PMI data. This is what is happening. And this actually ties in with the theory that if indeed all of these economies open up and the activity is so high and then travel picks up, then what could happen to oil? And just keep that at the back of your mind. I've been now talking about this for 3 days, but with reason. Anyways, we'll get to that later. First, what is Asia doing? What is SGX Nifty doing? Very quick updates there. So Asia, a smattering of green, but a very little green. So keep that in mind. So I think all indices will probably, or all markets will probably have individual movers either on the indices or down below in the mid cap and the small cap end. But that is what will happen. Let's get the SGX Nifty up on the screen and try and see what that is doing. Well, about a 0.5% uptick, so 84 odd points. Yesterday also we kind of recovered some bit of lost ground towards the fag end. We are slated to start off higher today, so this is actually pretty positive news. Now, therefore, and actually, let's just quickly see what happened in trade yesterday as well, right? As I was saying that yesterday at the fag end we moved up, so we know what the benchmark indices did. But if you look at the broader end of the spectrum, the mid caps, the NSE 500, that is, it tells you a story that reversal of market breadth happened very, very swiftly in trade yesterday. 359 advancing to only 141 declining. And look at the gainers list. I mean, the top 16 gainers, the 16th gainer has a 7% uptick, whereas the top loser had only a 4% downtick. That tells you a story about how the mood was in trade yesterday. And everything from the Adani Group stocks to PSU banks to textile companies did really well for themselves in the session yesterday. So therefore, what's the trade setup like? I mean, frankly, like I've been saying, I think banks are slated to do well. If the Nifty has to do well, the bank Nifty will have to do well. And in fact, if it is near key levels, it can actually show a very sharp up move if the markets stay buoyant. So today, watch out for the bank Nifty at the start of the trading day. Watch out for Reliance, of course, because of the announcements that they have done. And yesterday's move in Motherson, Muthoot, post results show that, I mean, this is a market. This is symptomatic of a very, very news-hungry market. You give positive news, and the market will really reward these stocks, as happened in case yesterday with these names. And I firmly believe, viewers, that oil sensitives will stay in focus for the entire series, arguably the next series as well. Do keep an eye out on oil. With all of the manufacturing PMI as well as the travel opening up, and OPEC Plus staying fairly benign on the production output numbers, you probably are looking at some upticks for oil. And you never know, there could be some serious moves in the oil sensitives. Bernstein yesterday in a note said that they would be going and buying into all of the names wherein they have an overweight position in the energy space in all of their entire coverage, not just India, by the way. So that's the key thing that you got to monitor. Today, not too many nifty numbers, some half decent mid cap numbers. So APL Apollo, key number to watch out for. Quest Corp, key number to watch out for. And at some point of time, I'll watch out for Nilkamal, simply because Nilkamal yesterday had a big bang up move in the run up to the numbers. So some of these news might be getting priced in as well. So you got to be careful of that. So I've laid out the trade setup, viewers. Now, what are the stocks that one should monitor in the session today as a result of the news that have already come out on them, right? So first would be this whole ethanol ecosystem, because the news as per PTI yesterday is that India has brought forward the target of 20% ethanol blending in petrol to 2023. It was 2025, which was anyways a preponement from 2030. Now the government is saying that the country has to meet the 20% ethanol blending target by 2023. So bunched up in next 24 months, post next 24 months, we'll have to have 20% ethanol blended petrol. Now, who benefits? The first names that come to mind are sugar companies, right? And yes, you could see a bit of a flare up in sugar companies today. But frankly, just think about it logically, that I think sugar companies have already said that this is the capacities that they are putting up. Let's just stick with this plate for a bit. They've already said that this is the plate, that these are the expansion that they are put up in place. Even with 20% blending by 2025, they would have been able to sell only as much capacity of ethanol. So to earning expectations of sugar companies, I don't think there is a material change unless those companies are setting up new capacities. And I think Balrampur in the con call said that. But I think you want to watch out for that when it comes to sugar companies. But for Praj Industries, the orders which were expected to come in, if they manage to bag all of these orders, then they would benefit. But now, of course, we got to watch out, and do please watch out. Please do your study about the valuations as well, because Praj is not a cheap stock by any means whatsoever. But yes, the order inflow situation for that stock improves, and therefore a very high probability that the stock might be active today. And then you look out for other companies like a BCL Industries, which I've mentioned. Now, please, viewers, please remember, I have no idea about the valuations. I have no idea about the corporate governance of these names, especially the BCL Industries of the world. But they are into the process of, they're in the business of making ethanol. And if ethanol capacity or ethanol blending target has gone up, then they would naturally benefit, presumably benefit. So the stock prices today will certainly move up. But I urge all of you to do due diligence on the valuations, on corporate governance. And all of these might be really good, by the way. I have no idea, but I'm just telling you. So please do all of that before you go out and buy. But one thing that anybody will tell you, that you got to identify a sector with some tailwinds to it. I think this whole bioenergy ethanol space has the tailwind to it, and therefore, if you get a good company out here, you might benefit. All of these companies, by the way, might actually react in the session to this, so do watch out for that. Now to some results. Ratnamani Metals and Tubes came out with Q4 numbers. I've chosen QOQ again out here, but splendid performance. Revenues up 57%. EBITDA margin at 22%, net profit up 82% quarter on quarter, by the way, not YOY. YOY could have been different and would have been maybe even better, but QOQ performance pretty solid. They've recommended a dividend of 14 rupees per share. I presume that con call is slated to happen sometime later today, but yeah, this stock could react positively today. Do watch out for MTAR Technologies. The first results, I believe, post their IPO listing. Revenues up 25% quarter on quarter. EBITDA margin, substantial expansion, 43.3 versus 31.5. Net profit has doubled, to about 18 crores. It was about 8.8 crores. So pretty strong performance for MTAR Technologies. So do watch out for this one. Panesha, it's in news because of vaccine. The performance is really shabby on a quarter-on-quarter basis, I must say. But well, they've approved the raising of funds of 1,200 crores by issuance of equity shares of or other securities. So obviously they're seeing some growth here. They are the ones who are manufacturing Sputnik, if I'm not wrong. And I think from what I remember, Panesha saying that they will have a capacity up and producing the vaccine by end of June or beginning July. So there's traction in this space, but the numbers are really shabby for Panesha. So yeah, I don't quite know which way it will do, but the numbers, if you go purely by the numbers, then Panesha should react very negatively. But it's got the tailwind of this COVID vaccine production, and therefore it could do well. The other interesting one that I thought was Rosary Biotech, because the company just came out of their IPO 6 months back. They have some cash on the books. They have an expanded capacity on stream from April. So their production capacity moves up, and now they are acquiring another company. I don't have much details about this. The company hasn't spoken to us as yet, but 421 crores is pretty interesting. But if they acquire this company, then therefore it just adds to the capacity of Rosary Biotech, because I guess 421 crores for a company with a market cap of 6,000 crores, you don't pay for technology. You pay for some manufacturing facilities as well. So I'm guessing Rosary's manufacturing, not capability, but the facilities would substantially expand in FY22 or FY21, and that should hold the company in good stead. So do watch out for Rosary Biotech too. Please do your due diligence again. It's I think, if I'm not wrong, it's a pretty expensive stock. So do watch out for this, and do watch out for all of these companies which will come up on your screen next, which had some pretty interesting price volume action. Philips Carbon Black, I hear Carbon Black prices have really inched up substantially. So 6% up yesterday on 50% delivery. PNB Housing Finance, 20%, 10%, has more than gained about 70, 80% in the last 3 days alone. Pretty strong there. And Welspun India was the interesting one that I thought, up about 8% yesterday on 40% mark for delivery. Of course, Adani Group stocks, they defy gravity and they continue to do well. So I'm not the one to remark on them. They could well go up another 20, 30% because there is appetite for them. So I have no idea about what they'll do. But to my mind, the trade setup, if the markets have to stay buoyant, I think the banks have to perform. I haven't mentioned Reliance out here, by the way, but Reliance has had a 10% up move in yesterday's meet. Mr. Mukesh Ambani spoke about some pretty interesting things, including applying for a drug for COVID-19. You have to give it to Reliance, viewers. As much, I mean, whether you like what they do or don't like what they do, but they went ahead. Yeah, and this is the story. You want to read this, right? What Reliance said in its annual report. The beauty is that for the company, which is arguably the largest company in the country, they went out and made oxygen cylinders, or rather got into that about oxygen plants and oxygen manufacturing. Now they have made an application for a COVID-19 drug. They're doing multiple things, I must say. Net carbon neutral or carbon zero carbon by a certain period of time as well. Sajid has filed that story. You might want to read it. But this is pretty interesting what Reliance is doing. So you never know. A part of the up move coming ahead could well be Reliance's contribution as well. So Reliance, banks in particular, I think, oil sensitives and oil upstream for sure, and the whole ethanol ecosystem is in focus today, arguably for the next few days. Stay safe, please stay masked up, please get vaccinated, and also look at export-oriented themes. Don't just remain focused on India. The world is opening up and Indian companies are capturing some market shares there. Thanks so much for tuning into the Trade Sir.